Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Big day. We've just finished our live testing of the new G425 driver from Ping. We done a little hour and 50 minutes specifically on the new range. Yeah. We tested the irons, the hybrids, the fairways, and all three of the driver heads.
Yes, definitely. I think they've done a good job, it looks like, of covering a ton of different people. Some of the testing you did that showed from the fade bias setting on the LST to the draw bias setting on SFT. Talking about 100 yards of ball flight adjustment. So that was really cool. Probably one of the best takeaways from that test, I think.
I think as a Ping engineer, you've got to be looking at that pretty proud of what you've accomplished.
Should be.
In ball flight manipulation. Amazing. Amazing. To think that you can have someone who's really struggling with the hooks and set that LST open, weight and toe, and just get that thing blocking more down the right side, or somebody who's been a chronic slicer, get that thing finally turning over and see the look in someone's face.
They would be ecstatic with that.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing work. So we are going to step into the realm of the average swing speed of a male player with the driver. Yeah. 95 to 100 miles an hour is where we're going to do all our testing today. We're going to look at basically all three heads and kind of do a little kind of mini fit in
Absolutely.
Here. We'll hit all three, but within that we'll select the best one and we'll kind of turn the screw on that one a little bit and see how we can really dial it in for you, Matty.
Because we really don't know which one it would be.
Yeah.
The SFT will only be for someone that doesn't want to hit it right, which is fair. Yeah. When it comes to the other two, it'll just be a spin profile decision.
Absolutely.
For the most part.
Okay. Let's get some baseline numbers. You're going to start off here with the Max version.
Max version.
Okay, yes. Yep. So the Max is the replacement of the G410 Plus. So obviously G400 Max, which was a hugely popular head. It was a head we done really well with. Yeah. That combined with the 410 Plus is the new 425 Max. Gotcha. So you've kind of the best of both worlds, the adjustable weights with obviously the maximum MOI. Obviously the head weight's a little bit heavier, so it's a little bit more stable, but really, really quick as well. We have come to realize that your right-handed swing profile is so good for these types of tests.
It's been working out in the speed range. Yeah. First, it was kind of getting a hang of that. I think lately I've just gotten a hang of at least being able to swing on the path and angle of attack that most people would. I think a lot of people are close to zero at some point, maybe a little bit out in and a little bit down. So it will be good to see the complete opposite of how drivers, because I'm doing the opposite. I'm quite a bit in and up, my left-handed swing. Yeah. Tough for me to assess, even at the different speed out of the question. Really tough to assess all parts of it. So I think, yeah, it should work out nice.
Should be in good shape. Okay, starting off with the Max, really neutral settings. We've got the Alta CB shaft in there, 55 grams stiff.
This would basically be, you came to start your Ping fitting.
Rack.
Yeah, off the rack.
Beautiful start. So probably a little toey?
Yes, was. Worked though. Tell you what, it didn't feel like that.
No.
Which is usually the signature of this. Like it felt toey, but that was almost off the end of the club.
That was something that when we were doing our live testing, that was exactly my experience of the first strike with the Max, that I towed it. Yes. And I went, that felt quite nice.
Interesting. So it's very much dulling, unfortunately, the sensation, which for some people, they may listen to me and go, what do you mean that's unfortunate? That sounds great. Yeah. Others may go, I need to know if I towed it, at least by feel. I certainly wouldn't want the ball to fly worse, but maybe just you want to feel that you towed it. Exactly.
I think for most golfers, it's probably a good thing. And then there's some that have to pay attention to that because they won't love the fact they can't feel a miss quite as easily.
Bit in the heel, maybe? Or a bit low, certainly. Mixture of strikes. Efficiency is good down there.
Yeah, we're seeing that with the drivers, aren't we?
Yeah, we really are.
The ball speed retention on a real sort of
two bad
strikes.
Yeah, two bad strikes. But I think why people look to a Ping driver, I play with tons of people at my club that have literally said the exact same thing. Yeah. It's not even my opinion. I can go to the first tee, make that swing, tow the crap out of it or whatever I do, and I'm in play and I can make a par on the first hole. Yeah. It's hard to put a price on that.
I know.
That's going to be in the high toe. The phantom draw. better.
Attaboy.
That's I think a more typical strike of this type of swing would be a little bit low and a little bit in the heel.
Good.
Maybe a little more low than I thought. Okay.
That's got to be pretty close.
That's hit solid, yeah. There we go. That's just better control of the face now, I think.
This is, on paper, the most forgiving driver of all time.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
But with that, yeah, an effective MOI over 10,000.
Is that right? Wow.
So, but what you've got is a situation where we've got a little contrast in some strikes, different strikes. We've got some face angles that are changing.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, a little open, a little more closed. Really the face contact, the strike point is what we need to manage.
Gotcha.
45 3/4, like we talked about with this one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the ideal length either.
Good point.
Maybe one of the other stock shafts, the AV Raw, the orange AV Raw 65, or the Rogue white.
And is that an interesting part of the fit where someone would look at those strikes and go, I guess it's good that I'm using this driver because I hit the ball all over the face, which isn't wrong, but you've also said, well, yes, but let's try to get your strike pattern better with a shaft change, essentially.
Definitely. So I'm going to make,
let's do it.
Make a little change. So we've made a few adjustments with the CG shifter in the toe.
Yeah.
Flattened it in, so neutral flat.
Nice.
So we should see that dynamic lie come down to about 4.5, 5.
Gotcha.
We should see that curvature be reduced. We should see much less left in terms of the hooky one.
Right.
We should probably see the ball speed go up a little as well. Ball speed there was 140. So we'd expect to see that climb a touch.
Nice. And we're just trying to establish way better contact, I guess, for the most part right now.
Yeah.
Good. Certainly felt better.
A pretty desirable flight from a curvature perspective. It just came out a touch low.
Just a bit low.
Wow, look at the difference in that dynamic lie angle.
Oh, wow.
So from 7.5 to 2.
So also the droop of the shaft, maybe a couple degrees?
Shorter. So the length has changed the dynamic lie angle. So there's a real little nugget there if you are struggling with shape. Changing the shaft length to go a little bit shorter to make the club sit a little bit more toe down is going to be advantageous to managing that face angle. Oh, that sounded so good.
Wow. May I buy this?
You're feeling pretty good about this now,
Oh my God. It's just really funny how different the flight is than before. Because even before when I struck it okay, it was, I don't know, like popcorny. It was just going up.
What's brilliant about this is actually the average strike is in the exact same spot. Look at the value of putting that CG adjuster in the toe, that it basically stops the gear effect.
Oh, good point. I never thought of that. That's what it's doing.
So it shifts it to the point where you're now hitting it in the stable part of the head. So we've turned 11 millimeters in the toe into the sweet spot.
That's a great point. And we have a little rough estimate of where this CG likely is using the devices that actually can tell you physically.
Because right now, where we've set the markers, on the foresight markers, that's where we're telling foresight the CG is on this driver. So it thinks that was 2 millimeters high, when in reality, it's probably more like 5, 6.
Probably more like 5, and I would say it would be close to 0 in terms of toe, because it is right there.
And that's why this is spinning at 2,000, even though it's a 10.5 max head.
Very interesting.
Okay, let's hit a couple more. I mean,
it's feeling good so far.
Other than giving you some launch, we're really close to optimal right now.
I'm finding a better groove with this shaft as well. Which I have to say, I said it off camera, but if I was coming in for a fit and you told me this was one of the stock shafts and I knew what it was worth, I'd be kind of impressed. I'd be happy if this worked out, because I feel like I'm holding an $1,100 driver.
No.
Last year, this 410 with this shaft would have been.
Yeah, it would have been for
like
sure.
$1,000.
$1,000 plus tax.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That felt really good. Ooh.
Best carry today. That was 240-ish.
I think that's the best drive. I know it's not the longest, but it was...
That's good.
It had it all.
You're definitely a great fit for this shaft. The right-handed version of Matt is a really good fit with that.
The timing. Yeah, I think I've made, again, this combination, again, I am hitting into the toe, but for me, I guess right now, the center of the face is the toe, as long as we have this weight over there especially. But it feels definitely like, as much as I don't really have many reference points right-handed, this does feel a little bit more reliable, a bit more automatic to it.
And we're optimized there. We really are. I mean, the launch and spin is really, really good.
It is,
It's super efficient. So you're just really not going to get much more than 261 out of that and be stable while doing it.
Turnover. Turnover. It was good.
Definitely hit solid enough.
Yeah, I was really happy with it. Maybe.
Oh, it's got a chance.
Maybe.
It was 260.
Also not struck the best.
Slightly toy.
High, very high.
Okay, high.
Well, no, both. I'm enjoying seeing it from this perspective because now I've always said that and known that and used it for that reason for myself because it's forgiving. But just, I don't know, playing golf would be so much lower stress when you know you can tow one 20 and 20 millimeters off center and hit the fairway or at least be in play. Like, it's great.
I can't emphasize enough what that weight is doing at the back of that club. Normally an adjustable weight might be 12 grams, something like that, a shifter, 26 grams of adjustability at the back.
Beefy.
Really significant. And that's why we're seeing these strikes that are living out the toe, and they've actually gotten slightly more progressively toe side, is giving us this combination. We talked about it earlier on that the strike was causing us to be a bit all over the map.
Right.
But now we've catered a little bit to the pattern, and nothing's permanent. No. Sure, we would rather you hit it, a little bit more centered, but
move it over.
Move it over.
That's why, again, I'm saying, like, even if I had spent $1,000 on this, would have been a bit crazy. But this thing with this shaft, and I will know based on what you just said, that would have been my number one concern. Ian, this is great. What if I don't want to tow it, obviously. I hope to come and see you in a month and not be towing it.
I know.
And your answer can be pretty simple. Yeah, I'll move that back for you.
Move it back.
I'll either move it 1 over or 2 over.
That's just part of the ongoing, relationship.
Service, right? Yeah.
That's it.
No, I think that's awesome. They've done a great job with this. I was not skeptical, but I was curious how they could go from such a long track to such a small track by comparison. It's not like it's doing less. It might be doing more.
It's doing more. I think that's the kind of measurable data would now tell us that it's actually doing more by moving it less.
It's good engineering.
It's great. Okay, guys, that's really probably as good a representation as to how we can take a product like this, adjust it, fit it, look at the different shaft combinations that are, and these were the stock ones. This wasn't diving into the aftermarket. This is what you guys can walk into any store who carries these. They'll have a Rogue White. We never hit that today. Matty's speed wasn't quite there to use the 70 gram version. That would have been too heavy for what Matt needed. So really the AV Raw Orange and the Alta CB were the two options that we would think about in this scenario, and this would be any pro shop, really, that environment. Those were the two best options. And it was just a case of one gave you more speed, club head speed, but one gave you way more ball speed.
Yes.
Then one gave you control, one lost control.
Really interesting.
Tying all that together.
I think someone who finds the middle of the face really easily, I'm sure is watching this going, these numbers are really close to mine, but I probably hit the middle of the face more than Matt did, which is not exactly going to be a huge accomplishment. But that person, 55 gram, longer shaft. Maybe they still hit the middle of the face, but I got 3 miles an hour club head speed, so it worked.
Absolutely.
But I just personally couldn't control it.
And you also had, at the end there, you had so much consistency and stability coming out of that combination that you were actually able to put the club head speed back in. And that was confidence.
That's true. I did swing the last couple closer to 100. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You had a little bit left in the tank, and you were able to pull it out of there because you knew that really this driver was very stable for you.
It's really interesting.
So you got it all back.
That was a really in-depth fit with 1 head and 2 stock shafts.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
It felt, to me, honestly, it felt like the way all the fits feel. We still tried a bunch of stuff and it worked out great, but I'm happy to see that someone can get this stock, and I would be confident that you can get well fit for it.
Definitely, definitely. Okay guys, lots of great fitting options. I think the 8 adjustable settings from the sleeve, the weight positions like we talked about, the shaft options from their profiles, their lengths, obviously the aftermarket shafts like we talked about, Rogue White Intense AV Raw Orange being 45 1/4, CB Alta is, or Alta CB is 45 3/4. Gives you guys lots of good options. If you don't want to play long, you don't have to. If you want to try a little longer, see what it offers you, go for it. It's something that you can try, but do it all in the fitting environment so that when you get on the course, you've got the right one in your hands. Don't go buy it and then just hope that you can take it to the course and hopefully it works. Because as we've seen today, that's unlikely to be the best case scenario for you. You're going to need some fine tuning. Do that before, not afterwards.
Yeah, good advice. This is my right-handed driver until further notice. Until further notice.
Good stuff. Okay, lots more content coming on the G425 products. We'll be reviewing more in the fairways and the hybrids and the irons coming very soon. Once we have the left-handed samples, we'll be doing obviously Matty's proper testing with it once we can get his shafts that are appropriate for him. So stay tuned for lots more content. We'll see you again soon.